change it up a bit, Jeffrey.
Yes.
We're done with the underachievers, so the remainder of this podcast will be our hockey podcast. If you're not really that into hockey or the NHL or our opinions on hockey, now would probably be the time to turn it off because we're going to be talking about hockey. Although, if you want to get our opinions on the jerseys, keep listening because we got that for you. But before we even get to that, let's do some little bit of a update on the league because it seems like there could be a chance that it
Yeah.
actually starts on January 1st. I do think this did happen because I think before it was going to maybe be in February and it wasn't really sick. I think it's because the NBA is potentially being around like Christmas time, a little before then. And I think they kind of want to be around then as well, just so they want to be back. Um, I'm interested because it does seem like there will be a Canadian division. How
Mm.
that division will play out, I feel like I think the thought was like 60 some games or whatever. I forget what the complete number is off the top of my head. Um, which I think it's another thing similar to in the playoffs last year, where any team could be like, "Why not us again?" Because in 60 games, we've talked about it many times in the podcast before, where just uh good teams will struggle at the beginning of the season. And if you really think about the good teams, which I thought about earlier today, is Boston. If there's only 60 games there, and they're already going to be without Marchand and Pasternak, they're two of their juggernauts on that top line, and they lost Torrey Krug and didn't really gain anyone back. You could not saying it's guaranteed, but in 60 game season where they're going to miss the beginning of it, most likely they could miss the playoffs. I don't think
Yeah.
that's out of the realm of possibilities, but
It's
any
definitely
big
not
injuries like
out of the
that,
question.
Dallas without Tyler Sagan, St. Louis with uh, Tarasenko, even though they were able to do well without him last year, and Dallas as well. I think Tampa Bay has a lot of issues, especially cap wise, what they're going to do. They got to sign people.
They're and Tampa. We'll get to them when the time comes. They're not near. Honestly, I think they're going to not make but one, but two moves
They have
still
to.
leading up to the season. They have to clear up cap space, and it's going to be players. They're going to have a very tough choice. Tyler Johnson. Keep in mind, he went through waivers,
No one
and
claimed him, and
no one
I
claimed
think
him.
teams didn't want to claim him because that was going to screw over the Lightning.
Yeah,
And I think not that teams weren't like Tyler Sagan or not Tyler Sagan,
Tyler
sorry,
Johnson.
Tyler Johnson, but if that means screwing over the team that just won the Stanley Cup and is on paper the best team in hockey,
Yeah,
why
they'll
not do
do
it?
it.
If it gives them a headache and they don't have Steve, I know Briz Boys is there, but right, Briz Boys is that the
Yeah, Bruce
GM?
Boyce. Yep.
Yeah, and it's no longer Steve Yzerman. That's a headache for him. That's one of last year was a headache for him just trying to sign Point. This year's another headache for him to figure out what he's
Yeah.
going to do,
And
and he still
again,
hasn't.
we'll get to the bullets when the time comes, but that's something to keep in mind.
And there's
What I
other
do
teams
want to
like
talk,
that. Like,
yeah,
is Purcell going to sign? When is he going to sign?
I don't know.
If that's why I say if the season does start in January, a lot of these deadlines are going to have to be pushed, and a lot of these players are going to have to sign, especially some of the players who are still available, like Mike Hoffman, Sammy Vatanen still out there. Just
There's a
some of
lot
the
of good
names,
opportunities to grab someone good.
but that also then means they might take less than what probably would have expected to or would have liked to, just because of that. Um, yeah, I would like. Uh, It'd be great if hockey could start in January because then I could have something to watch.
This is true.
Um, you know what? Before we
This
actually
is
get to
true.
this reverse retro, let's do our deep dive in Chicago before we
Chicago.
forget about it. So, as you remember, people who listen to our podcast, we've been doing these deep dives, as just mentioned earlier, about Tampa Bay doing it later. We are still in the C's. So
Yeah. Got a long ways
today,
to go, folks.
yeah, we do. So today's will be on the Chicago Blackhawks, which I think only because this playoffs were expanded, and I wouldn't be surprised again if not to an extent if it was this past playoffs, but I wouldn't be surprised if they expanded it a little bit this next playoffs. I hope not, but I wouldn't be surprised. That's how they kind of got in. They took down a team that doesn't really have a great defense in Edmonton, but they did make the playoffs. Not that this team isn't a playoff caliber team, but you did lose two. You did lose to your star goalies that you had going for you last year. Yeah, you had Malcolm Subban, and Malcolm Subban's a good goaltender, but you just lost the goalie you won 2 cups with, and during the season, Robin Leonard. So
who ironically, not only did you trade into Vegas, and you retained $2.5 million in salary, but he's also the goalie who helped beat your team to advance to the conference finals. So
yeah, after the guy that actually had, I think he had COVID or something like that, and didn't go until that series, played really well for you for his age, and you obviously they have a little over $5 million, but
they have 5.21 to be exact. So looking at before the offseason, they had to resign 3 RFAs: Malcolm Subban, Dylan Strome, and Dominic Kubalik. They re-signed Subban. He is 2 or 3 years. His contract expires 2022, 2023.
His wasn't. Only.
Kubalik, by the way, they signed a pretty nice deal of
2 years.
2 years, $3.75 million. He's still going to be an RFA after the end of it. Here's the big one: Dylan Strome remains unsigned still.
I think he's still going to be someone that's not going to get too much.
I think he'll get less than Kubalik. I think so. Looking at what Zach Smith's making, it'll be between what they signed Mateus Janmark $2.25 million, Zach Smith at $3.25 million. They both have a year left. I think that Stromer will get between 2.25 and 3.25 million.
Oh, I completely forgot about Brett Seabrook and Andrew Shaw.
Yeah. So
I think that's why some of the cap is the way it is because
that definitely is. So, dude, Brent Seabrook, he is signed until he's a UFA till 2024, 2025. That's ridiculous.
He's signed longer than anyone on this team. That includes Kane and Tays.
And DeBrincat.
Yeah.
And Duncan Keith even.
Yeah.
But yeah, so here's the other thing. So oh God.
You traded away obviously the last couple of years because you've been struggling, kind of a rebuild, kind of not. Or kind of rebuild, but still having those key players that could make you a playoff team in a not great West.
Oh, that's right.
You've had to kind of get rid of contracts here and there after your cup winning runs.
I have 2 things to say real quick.
Yeah.
One, I forgot they traded Brandon Saad and retained I think 16.7% is $1 million.
$1 million.
Traded him to Colorado. They got Nikita Zadorov and Anton Lindholm back. Honestly, I think
that's still weird to me.
It is weird. I think it's honestly better for Colorado to get rid of Zadorov. For me, I don't know why. I never liked the guy. I think he's a pretty solid player, but I don't think he's worth that kind of headache on your blue line. Unless I'm thinking of a completely different person, this guy gets way too many penalties, makes too many bad mistakes, and he cost the Avalanche some points. So
yeah, he does. So that's pretty great. So in the 2019-20 season, in 64 games, he only put up 13 points, 4 goals, 9 assists for the defenseman. But in 64 games, he had 65 penalty minutes, and in the playoffs, in 15 games, he put up 5 points, 3 goals, 2 assists, and 18 minutes of penalty.
Again, he cost this guy. You gotta look at the penalty minutes. He cost the team games because of his stupid penalties. So I think it's going to be more so of a headache for Chicago.
I agree, but
Dennis Gilbert, AHL guy, went the other way with Saad to Colorado. So
yeah,
there's that. Some other trades in the offseason. They traded Ole Mata to the Kings for Brad Morrison. They also so that's all they've really done. But the other big, since we're talking about Chicago,
obviously during the season they traded away Eric Gustafson, which is now on Philadelphia. Obviously it doesn't really affect now, but I'm just saying it.
Yeah,
that was it. Just going back to my point of in the past couple of years, you've just been trying to shed some type of salary to cap reasons and everything. because you have two of your guys over 10 mil. And you, again, lost more pieces from your cup winning runs, which realistically speaking, I don't think you're a playoff. I think you're an up and coming potential playoff team, and not Great West, you probably will make it, but I don't see you long term going into it because you have a similar issue like Carolina we talked about last time, where Malcolm Subban's good, but is he ready to, and Colin Delia, are they, as either one of them good enough at the moment to take the full reign of being starter? Because Subban's been a backup for most of his career and he's been good at it, but are they ready to take the realm? Because they didn't bring anyone in really for goaltending. You obviously got great things out of Kirby Doc this past season, and other young players too. I think Dellenstrom had a down year from the first year.
He had a bit
had
of
him.
down year. He's still a very solid player.
He's a solid player, and the thing that worked for them is you don't have to worry about putting him on the top line. You can just throw him the middle six or even really bottom six if.
So there is something I do want to bring up.
It's another one who played really well as well.
Brinkett, he is a freaking all-star. This kid is so good.
Yeah. What were you gonna say? And I also don't think your defense is that great either.
No, it's definitely not.
And that's why those are my thinking of why I can see you making playoffs because of some of the people you do have, the young up-and-coming talent. You still have Taves and Kane who can still provide you a good amount, but I don't think you're long for a playoff run. You may squeak by if you're playing Edmonton again or something like that. But outside of that, I just don't. I don't see you going on a long run.
Right. So here's my thing: Chicago, unless they get a goalie, they're not making the playoffs.
The only goalie you can think
of
that's
sorry,
out there
I like Malcolm Subban. I don't know much about Colin Delia. He could be a good player, but they're not making them playoffs.
The only reason why I said they could is just because the West isn't great. That's my only thing.
Yeah, not only that, but again, their goalies are way too young. So you need some sort of veteran leadership there. But so here's the one thing I will say though, real quick. Stan Bowman is a problem in Chicago. He's been a massive problem in Chicago. And the rebuild recently, it has come to a complete shock to the team's core players, including Jonathan Toews, including Duncan Keith, Brent Seabrook, and Patrick Kane, as apparently they were never informed by Stan Bowman, according to the Chicago Sun-Times, or anyone else in the front office of the decision, again, where they were moving on from Brandon Saad or Corey Crawford. So Toews expressed dismay and concern over the Hawks' personnel decisions.
I get it.
He told Mark Lazaris, who covers the Hawks with The Athletic, he said, quote, "The expectation for the other leaders on this team and myself is to come ready to training camp every year to be a playoff team. I've never been told that we were going through a rebuild. That has never been communicated to me for that matter. A lot of this comes as a shock because it's a completely different direction than we expected." So this, again, the lack of communication seems to rattle Toews as it should. Bowman gave a more explicit statement to the media one day saying, not even saying, declaring, now that we've made the decision, the way that we're going to move forward with youth, there's going to be a lot more things that we're going to talk about over the coming days as far as planning next year's team. So again, from what I've been hearing the last, couple, month or two or so, and just reading online, the Hawks core is pissed at Stan Bowman. They are furious with the fact that he's blown up the team a little bit here and there and making these, again, dumb decisions. I don't like the way Stan Bowman has been handling this team for some time now.
If we're being honest here, I feel like fans probably haven't been big fans of him since he traded away Artemi Panarin.
That's a good point. So for a little bit going into Stan Bowman's trade history, he's been very busy the last several years. So literally, you have to go pretty far back.
So he traded away Brandon Saad, then got Brandon Saad, then traded him again, and then
Yeah. So when the let's see here. So the Blackhawks they acquired Mark Giordano, Jeremy Morin, Corey Tropp fourth, and Artem Anisimov in 2015 for Brandon Saad, Alex Broadhurst, Michael Pallotta to Columbus, and then not too long after that, again, I was in 2015, and then with the same team in the Blue Jackets in 2017, the Blackhawks got Brandon Saad back and Anton Forsberg. They traded Artemi Panarin, Tyler Mott, and a 6th-round pick. Tyler Mott, he's a good player. He's a young guy. He's in Vancouver now. He's doing quite well, and I think he's finally hitting the right mark. But again, it's yikes. So there's been some questions that that definitely is a questionable move there.
I'll defend him on this point.
Yeah.
Just going back to, I think it was the Chicago Sun-Time article you were just reading off.
Mm-hmm.
I completely understand why Kay isn't taking, and that would have been pissed. I mean, it would have been great if you would have just said to beginning, like, hey, we're probably going to rebuild, because realistically, you probably should have been rebuilding, because those guys are older. They're in their prime, most of them, Taze and Kane. Kane's only 31, 32 for Taze, but he's 37, and Seabrook's 35. And how old's Saad? 28. So a lot of that core, even Corey Crawford, I believe, is pretty old too. And I'd want to. I get why they would want to keep him, especially after this last playoffs. He's maybe surprised some people doing as well as he did with Corey Crawford and all that. And maybe you can bring back that spark that made you win cups beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
And no one's going to ever dispute against Stan Bowman, because he did bring 3 cups to the Chicago Blackhawks in his time being GM. It's just one of those things, like, yes, you want to compete, but they just had to do it more as the Flyers' way of rebuilding, of maybe trying to be around the playoffs, but still rebuilding at the same time, because realistically, you're getting older, you're not getting younger, so you have to bring in these guys. Yeah, it's great you found Kirby Dach and Alex DeBrincat. Realistically, you could argue maybe some of those were a little lucky, especially of late, of where you ended up in the draft and all. Just saying. Just saying.
Yeah.
Just saying. You got lucky with Kirby Dach. Just saying.
No, they did. And again, I'll put it this way. It's more so.
I think it's shitty you didn't say anything to the guys, because that's your core team.
Yeah, no, 100%. I'll put it this way. It's more so Chicago scouting that does everything for this team. Their scouting is probably top 3 in the league. They found Panarin. It shouldn't have been that hard to find DeBrincat, but they found DeBrincat. They were the ones that told them, hey, we need to draft this guy. They were right all along. So a lot of these, Kubalik, he wasn't drafted by Chicago. He was drafted by LA into the 7th round. But the fact that, again, I'm sure the GMs now, or assistant GM, whoever it is, they're not the only ones looking. There's scouts. They're going to games all the time and saying, look, we're not just here to watch prospects. We're here to watch actual, players too. Look, they saw something in Kubalik that they liked and thought, look, we need to get this guy whatever it takes. They got him. And put 30 goals as a rookie.
Yeah.
Their scouting is what's keeping the Chicago Blackhawks up here.
Around here, yeah. Around that
here, yeah.
Yeah, around that playoff.
Stan Bowman, he's making them drop here and there. And
it's kind of like
something's got to give. You gotta make a change. I know Chicago.
Obviously, it helps when at the time when he came in, you were literally the best Chicago was going to be. But at that same time, you want to look at the team it is now and the team a couple years from now and what you look like. Because you're still going to have Seabrook if you buy him out or whatever, and Keith, and they're in their mid to late 30s. They're not going to be getting any better. They're not going to be able to. They'll still want to and take on those 30-minute ice times, crunch moments like that. But as you get older, your body's going to crumble more, and they're not going to be able to do it as much.
Yeah.
So that's great that you're able to get this great, scouting. It's just trying to bring these guys in, and realistically, your scouting should start looking at goaltending too, because you just lost two good goaltenders. It's just my thought.
Yeah.
I don't like Chicago.
Oh, I know.
I don't like Chicago, but I could see them being in the playoffs. I don't know. Maybe a wild card, the second wild card, if the playoffs are expanded a little bit for this next season, maybe. They're definitely not the team that was dominating for those years in the when they won the cups. And they don't have that. Another thing that would always help with getting rid of big contracts was some older veteran that you could just throw to Arizona because they needed the cap. You don't really have that anymore. So because of that, this is where the headache comes in for Stan Bowman, and why you see Stan Bowman making some, you can argue, questionable moves that people aren't going to like as much, where the guys on your team would realistically like to still go for it while they're still in their prime. But
yeah.
And for the young guys too, just to get that experience.
Again, they got some young talent.
And who better learn from than the guys who won 3 cups together? Well, 2 with what's his face?
Crawford.
Corey Crawford, yeah. Anyways, that's all I've got really on Chicago.
Yeah, I don't have much. The only thing left I have for Chicago, again, they finished dead last in the Central, and yet they still made the playoffs,
Yeah,
which is
again, it was because it went to 24.
I know. I just hated it.
Yeah.
They had a 32-30-8 record, 72 points in 70 games, 0.514 win percentage. Sorry, point percentage that is. They're in the Central. They have to go up against the top teams that are going to be St. Louis, Colorado, and Dallas. Those 3 are going to be the top teams.
Probably going to win your division. You just gave him Brandon Saad. I know Brandon Saad's not really the same as he used to be, but it's still Brandon Saad.
Not going to lie, I feel like he's going to turn things around in Colorado. With that team, with that depth, woof.
He'll be a depth player. He's not going to be top 6. He's going to be bottom 6.
Yeah, again, that's a lot. That's a good depth player to have.
Oh, it is. It definitely is. It's going to bite them in the ass. And Chicago fans are
not only that, and you got rid of a guy like Zadorov, who's a massive problem on the blue line, when you can easily replace him with someone. Mm-hmm. Oh, what's his name? Oh gosh, Kale McCarr's already there. Wow, I'm actually forgetting his name. Oh God, I gotta look up real quick. This is gonna bug me. Shoot. Damn it. I can't think of his freaking name. He was like the 4th. Bowen Byram. That's it. My God. Bowen Byram. He can easily replace Nikita Zadorov. It's not going to be an issue. Literally, Byram should be on the Habs team next year. He's going to kick it. He's going to be an all-star next year. Guarantee it. Probably in the running for Rookie of the Year. Calling it right now.
The only thing you had going for you, because if I had to guess, I know it's more of an NFL thing for players to take a pay cut to stay where they're going. But maybe he won enough, but I had a feeling that if Corey Crawford probably would have taken somewhat of a pay cut to stay in Chicago.
Oh yeah. Again, that's been his team.
The only thing
he would have taken a pay cut, but
the only good thing you could say for that is that he ended up in New Jersey. You only have to play him twice, or however many times.
Sure.
Yeah, we're really gonna play him
all right, let's switch gears. The last thing we got, reverse retro jerseys.
Yes, and the great thing is, yesterday, the NHL's Twitter page did a picture of all of them, so I don't have to search far for all of them.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because I'm glad you're not doing what I was doing. I had an article from NHL.com, and your way is certainly much easier.
Yeah, it's a lot easier because they're all right here. All it's just changing one thing from another because it's just showing each division's thing. I'll start out with the ones I like the most.
Hold on, I gotta bring it up.
Do you want me to share it with you or send a link to it so you can get there faster?
How long ago they tweeted out?
It was yesterday at 4 in the afternoon. I'm just going to send it to you. It's going to be
All right,
faster.
that's fine. Well, as soon as I get it from you, I'm gonna find it.
I had to scroll a little ways to get to it, so
No, I can't find it. Just send it.
it's sending. So
There you go.
Oh,
look at that.
I'm gonna go division by that first of which ones I like most. The one I really like, I didn't think I was gonna like, or wasn't sure what I was gonna get, but I really like the Flames. That's
my god, I love Calgary's. They are phenomenal. Mm-hmm. Easily the best in their division. Holy smokes!
I also kind of really like the Golden Knights.
It's pretty sharp. I'm not gonna lie.
I know it's Vegas and they kind of want to be flashy. I like it. I even texted.
That's flashy.
It's flashy, but it's like I like it more than the third jerseys that they unveiled a couple months ago.
Yeah, I agree.
That are kind of like the Penguins third jerseys a bit, but not.
Well, hold on. So are we doing division by division, or the ones where you like the most?
Ones I like the most, but by division. I like the Vegas's and Calgary. They're in the same division. They're in the Pacific Division.
I'm just making sure. All right, so
I'm starting out in the West. So now I'm in the Central. I really like that the Quebec Nordiques are back.
Of course, they're gorgeous looking. Underrated jersey from that one. The Winnipeg Jets.
Yeah, I do kind of like it.
It's pretty sharp.
I wish there was a little more of light blue in it. That's the only thing I would.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. I do like that idea. The Dallas Stars, they went back to the Mike Modano era.
I wish they just would have. I kind of wish they.
I wish they just made straight up Mike Modano jersey.
Yeah, same. The thing I don't like about it is the Dallas Stars itself, the white in the background. It looks. I don't. It looks.
Yeah, that's one part. I'm like, no.
I'll come back to
before we continue on to the East and everything. I want to go back to Calgary for a second. These are like the same looking jerseys that they had, or it's either the same jerseys or it's at least I know the same patch on the shoulder that they had during the 04 Jerome McGinley days.
Yeah, I think most
of those things are gorgeous.
Most of these teams went back to when they were doing really well, and that little era for when these teams did the reverse.
Pretty much.
I wish some teams did reverse. I wish some teams just did retro, and it didn't have to be reverse.
Yeah.
So now let's go to the East. Do.
Starting in Atlantic, I have a couple favorites on this already.
I like Buffalo. I do like Buffaloes. They actually did great, and for once, it actually makes
Buffalo and Tampa Bay clearly my favorites. I love them so much because again, Tampa Bay back to that 04, early 2000s look, late 90s when they came in. I love that look.
I kind of like Florida's.
Florida's. It's you know what it is. It's real similar to what they used to have years
ago.
I can't remember the
Rats.
Year. There you go. You're the
Rats. 96. Let's go, Florida.
So I do like these jerseys. I'll say this: Boston.
I do
jerseys,
like.
That's the most pathetic looking bear I've ever seen. It looks like a 4-year-old drew that.
Yeah, that was gonna be.
You gotta be kidding me.
How great is it though that Boston went to some kids and said, "Hey, can you design a jersey for us? And whatever you make, we'll do it." I said, "Sure."
Basically,
and that's what they came up with, and that looks really cool if a kid made it. But if it was actually some like marketing team, and then an Adidas said, "Yeah, that's not a great," unless that was actually what the bear looked like back then. Then the bear back then didn't look great then either.
I mean, it's possible. I don't know. Montreal isn't bad.
I kind of wish. I know I've always said I don't really like the blacks, but I kind of wish the Ottawa's was black and not red.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Well, no,
reverse. I'm saying reverse it. Make the black red and the red black.
Oh, okay. I got you. Well, because the issue with that though, I'm pretty sure their new home jerseys are mainly black, right?
Yeah, they pretty much.
Yeah, so that's probably why.
And then the Metro, and then we can go into ones we don't really like.
Metro, gotta love the Whalers. The
yes,
Rangers, real
I like.
sharp.
I honestly, I like Columbus's. I do like Columbus's.
I love that
I like
classic
their yeah.
Columbus
I like their
logo. It's gorgeous.
yeah. I
Okay,
do
I'll
like
put
their
it this
old
way.
logo.
I'll put it this way. I like everybody in the Metros except for the Devils and the Islanders. And the Flyers are a little iffy, but other than that, I like everyone else's look.
Yeah, I agree. I'm
Again, the
I'm
Pittsburgh
not the
one.
biggest fan of the Pittsburghs, just because I feel like they just kind of took what New Jersey, I mean, the Rangers would do. The
Well,
cross
no.
lettering.
So that Pittsburgh look, that was a '90s look back during the Yager Lemieux era. So that's what that look is.
Oh, I'm sure it is. They're reverse retro, so all these would be when, yeah.
No, I know. I'm just saying though, like that's
yeah.
But I get your point though.
Mm-hmm.
But the Rangers one, I love how they brought back the Statue of Liberty head. I love that.
I did like how some of these teams went back to what a retro like logo that they had. The Washington went back to the
real sharp.
Yeah, they went back to the eagle. I kind of wish again you would have just gone back to your old retro, make it white.
Yeah.
And you didn't, obviously with these you didn't have to make them a color or not a color, because some of these are, some of these aren't. The Nordiques, the Avalanches is white. The Whalers is gray, not really white, but and that's just one of those things. I wish it would have been white instead of red. That's my only issue I had with it.
That's fair. All right.
Now the ones
last thing, jerseys, the ones that you hate.
I like the idea that Arizona was going way out there, but I
don't
like it's.
I like the the Coyote head. I love that. Again, the Coyote head, they used to have that. I do like that. The purple's a nice touch, but the cactus and stuff at the bottom, it's a little much.
It's a little much, and my thing would be, because in the playoffs we saw those home jerseys they'd wear was those jerseys. I wish you would have just done the away version of that, or a maroon version of it, or whatever the orangey kind of brown color that's on the mascot. Maybe that'd be the prime. Just change it. Again, the Ducks, I get it. That used to be an old logo they had. I wish it was just the Mighty Ducks that's in the Ducks chest, so we can get the actual Mighty Ducks back. But no. Again, I'm not the biggest fan of the Canucks. I get what they were going with.
It's different. It's different. I don't like it. I don't hate it. Kind of like the Flyers. I don't like it. I don't hate it. It's in the middle.
The Kings, to me, I know they used to be purple or yellow.
I'll put it this way.
It just reminds me of the Lakers. It's a Lakers jersey in hockey. It's a hockey Lakers jersey.
That. No, I'll put it this way. The more I'm looking at it now, I prefer these ones compared to the yellow crap jerseys that they had.
Yeah.
These are much better. I'm still not a fan of the look, but it looks much cleaner.
I do wish the Sharks
it's not
iffy.
bad.
I wish you just went with the that green or whatever that color is, blue, green, whatever that.
It's like a aqua green or no aqua
green.
Blue. I think.
Go with that, because you had probably one of the cooler retro jerseys. Just bring those back, just the blue or whatever.
The Oilers doesn't do anything for me.
Just the same. It's
those
are jerseys like those are the jerseys like Detroit's that are just they'll change a little bit, but it looks exactly the same.
Chicago, they literally had a Winter Classic jersey just like that, except at the top it was white and not red. So boring. Nashville, it's literally like what their jerseys are now.
I'm assuming the Wild are trying to go to the North Stars color.
That's exactly what I'm thinking. So I like the idea. I like the mix of colors. I think it's pretty cool.
Obviously, you can't make it the North Stars because the North Stars are the Dallas Stars. So you can't really.
You can.
But then you have two stars in the same division. And that was my fear with some of these, like the Nordiques or the Hurricanes, is that they were just going to be those colors, but their current logo now, which I think would have just made those worse.
Who cares?
Answer me this, Jeffrey. I know they had red before. Your name is the Blues. You were the St. Louis Blues. Why is there red in their jerseys?
St. Louis Reds. I know.
You are.
Oh God. Yeah, it's I don't know.
It's just weird. It's like
it is weird.
It's like seeing Montreal in blue.
Red.
It's like seeing Montreal in blue, and Nashville looks exactly the same. There's the logo's a little different.
How do
Back
Toronto's jersey.
it doesn't do anything to me.
Yeah. I like Boston's is. Nah.
I kind of like Montreal's, but again, it's one of those things.
Montreal's I like. No, I
just,
like how
I know
they
people
did
are gonna freak out because it's blue, and they're
Who
used
cares?
to seeing Montreal in red. And there's
Who
especially the
cares?
original 6 teams. Those fan bases or those people are like, don't mess up those jerseys because they're classics or whatever, or just go back to that. It's like,
yeah, I do like Montreal's. They're pretty sharp.
yeah, and
Detroit's
Montreal's
is
always
boring.
been one that's changed. They've done white
Yeah.
before. I think they've some Winter Classics
Yeah.
jerseys. They've done white. They've done the red, and now it's blue. I kind of like that. It's different.
Yeah. No, I like the blue. It looks good. In New Jersey, they tried this look before. I've never been a fan of the
Yeah, I
green.
never got the green.
It's a bad look.
It is.
Last but not least is my least favorite one. Literally, oh, this is the best way of putting it. You know when you have an assignment, you know when it's due, and you do it absolute last minute and say, I tried, here's what I got. That's what you get in the New York Islanders jersey. They literally changed the shade of the blue, and it's the same exact jersey.
No, you know what it is? You know, in middle school, that like tech ed class where you'd make like graphic design like t-shirts.
Yeah.
You'd get to like make the design, you just kind of print it, it's kind of cheap. That's kind of like that. That's pretty much what they did. They pretty much just took like, oh, that would be cool. Let's paste that in there. Oh, that'd be cool. I mean, it's Lou. He's not going to make much difference to the logo or the jerseys. So besides making it a little darker or whatever, that's kind of it. Go back to the. Although I don't like when you were Brooklyn, I kind of like those NY, those black ones they had.
Yeah, I like the
great.
idea, just not the color. It doesn't
I agree.
go well.
I agree. I don't really like the color either, but I like that jersey, like how it looks.
Yeah.
That's all I've really got. That's kind of my thinking on those jerseys. We've been going on for a little bit now.
Yeah.
We split the podcast, so a little half and half.
All right.
And we'll see you whenever.
We'll see you when we see you.
Yep. Catch you on the flippity flip.